Hi, and welcome to Cold Calls for Dummies. In this video, we'll learn how to make an effective cold call to get a meeting with the company. We'll be spending 1 minute on the purpose of cold calls, 3 minutes on starting pitch / explaining what is ISIC, 7 minutes on explaining the cold call basics, and finally 4 minutes on tracking. So let's get started. What are cold calls for? Cold calls are for booking meetings with companies. It's not about selling our program to them. The goal is to just interest them in that meeting while saying as little as possible about our program. And the thing I want to emphasize for my cold calls for blitzes is that we're not going to be using scripts, because the whole point of this video is so that you can watch it and learn it. If at any point you feel like you don't understand anything, just rewind that section and watch it again. So let's just jump directly in. And let's start off with an example. So the company, pretend the company we're calling is ABC Eng. They're a small mechanical engineering firm, and the target that we want to call is John Smith. So we dial his number. The very first thing we'll usually get into is the company call system. Now the thing about calling systems is that there'll be an automated voice, and it's just like a set of instructions, right? You want to skip that by just dialing 0, and usually this allows you to speak directly to the secretary, who is usually known as the gatekeeper. And really, the gatekeeper just prevents you from speaking to the targets. But usually, if you just ask to speak to the target, they'll allow you to speak to him. So really, if I want to speak to John Smith, all I have to say is, "Hi, can I speak to John Smith?" And that's really it. If you can't speak to John Smith, just speak to HR, or person responsible for hiring decisions. If they ask you about the purpose of the call, just say you're calling from the university that you're from, and you just want to talk about a program you have to offer. So once you connect the person, now is your time to shine, and you want to start the call off in a solid way. And what I like to do is I like to do my 15-second pitch with the 3 value proposition. And what the point is that you say 3 things. You say who you are, what you're calling for, and why it relates to the company in 15 seconds. And this is really simple. It's really just saying 3 statements. The first statement is really just so-and-so calling from Isaac at so-and-so. So for me, it would just be, I'm Richard calling from Isaac McMaster. Then what are you calling for, right? You're making a personal call. And the only way to say that this is a personal call is to say personal details about their company. So what do we know? We know that they're a small mechanical engineering firm. That's all we need to say. Just say, I noticed you guys are a small mechanical engineering firm. And we can go directly to 3 and explain why our call relates to their company. And why does it relate? Because we have a program that we want to offer and talk about during our meeting. And the only way we can talk about during the meeting is if we accomplish this cold call. So really, what the point of our program is that we bring them international talent. So really all we have to say is that we have an opportunity available that can bring you international talent. If we put all 3 together, it's something like this. Hi, this is Richard calling from Isaac McMaster. I noticed you guys are a mechanical engineering firm. I think I have an opportunity available that can bring you international engineering talents. Once you say this, they'll either be instantly interested, they might not be interested, they might ask questions, right? Anything is good. But one way for sure to get them interested, if you feel they aren't interested and you can't directly jump into our program, is just ask them if they heard about Isaac before. So you just ask something like, have you guys heard of Isaac before? And if yes, that's fantastic, because now you have a personal relationship. You want to learn more about how they heard of us and maybe what they know about Isaac. If they know, then try to explain Isaac in the simplest way as possible. And really the simplest way is just saying, Isaac is a nonprofit organization that develops leaders through exchange. That's really all you need to say. Now let's move on to the bread and butter of cold calls, and that's explaining exactly what our program is. Our program is the Global Internship Program, and there's really 4 main aspects that you want to briefly mention during the call, but you don't want to go into any of these in detail. I won't be explaining any of these in detail, so it should be perfectly fine. But also I want to mention that you don't want to explain all 4 of these things at once. You want to go slowly, like 1 or 2 at a time, and try to get their interest at each point. So let's just go through these briefly. So the 4 main aspects are: we provide a turnkey solution, we offer international interns, we have a fast visa processing time, and we're a cost-effective program. Turnkey solution basically means that we do all the work for the company, and the company does minimal work. That's really all there is for a turnkey solution. International interns, So because we work in 126 countries, we can basically have interns from over 126 countries work for the company. And but the only catch is that we can't have any interns from Canada. It's only international interns, no local. The third point is that we have a fast visa processing time, and this literally just means that our visa processing time is fast. The main reason is because we're actually partnered with the government, which is like really good. So like, yay, we're partnered with the government, and it just makes everything so much more convenient. And the final aspect is that we offer a cost-effective program. And what it means by cost-effective is just that like we pack a lot for the punch. So like we just have so much to offer at such a low cost. It's just like really cost effective. I'm not gonna tell you the cost because the cost is usually something that you don't want to mention during a call. It's a lot better to mention it during a meeting. But if they're asking for like details like the cost or like more information on any of these, this is like the perfect time to ask for a meeting, because it's exactly during meetings where you'll be answering these questions about like the details. And it's as simple as saying something like, I only need 20 minutes of your time to explain our program in full detail to you in person. So I think if it would be possible, we could set up a meeting. That would be great. Remember, because the meetings are where everything explained. You don't want to explain the details of the program during the call. So you just want to highlight that the meeting is like, it's no obligation. It's just a meeting to introduce them to the program. You just want to explain some things. It won't take up a lot of their time. It's very low risk, basically. And say you don't quite get the meeting, you get like a different scenario where they say something and you just don't know what to say, right? The thing is that icx is obviously gonna be there when you make these calls. So if you ever get stuck, just shout out I need some help by saying you'll get them to speak to your manager, and an icx member will definitely be there to assist you with your call and try to remedy the situation. And however, there are 3 situations where you can hang up if you do get stuck. Well, these aren't really situations where you get stuck. It's just like situations where you should be hanging up. And those are really the only situations where you should be hanging up. Like, don't hang up for anything else, because icx member can be there to help you. The first situation is if you get the meeting. That's like fantastic. You get the meeting, you get like a time, location, everything set. That's fantastic. You just accomplished a cold call. Props to you. Next is if you try to get that meeting, but instead they ask for info package. So then what you end up getting is an email. That's just as good, because then we have a second chance, right? We can call them again, try it again some other day. Send them an email, no worries. The third is that they actually say they're not interested. And if they're not interested, obviously you don't want to pursue them anymore, because then they're directly not interested. But you don't want to just end like right when they say they're not interested. We want to find out the reason why, because then it could benefit us in the future. So really just ask something as simple as saying, is there a particular reason why you're not interested, or could I ask why you're not interested? Try to find out a reason why, because it could be very useful for us later on. Apart from that though, there's one thing I want to emphasize, and it's that you should never ask for the info package yourself before you ask for a meeting. Because remember, if you ask for an info package before you ask for a meeting, it just kills the chance of a meeting. You don't want to do that. So make sure that if you're asking for an info package, do it only after you try to ask for a meeting, and they don't really like initiate the ask for the info packages. Just ask like, oh, would you guys be okay if we send you info packages instead? And they'll usually say, yeah, for sure, we can just, and then ask for the email, just go from there. Now, there are 4 scenarios that I do want to cover, because these happen often, and usually these things you can just answer it on their own. Like, you don't really need an icx member to assist you. So the first main scenario is if they say they aren't hiring at the moment. And the thing about this is that that's completely fine. That doesn't mean that they can't do icx. The thing about our program is that we don't bring them candidates like ASAP, right? We bring them within the next few months, because that's basically how long our process takes. So ask them, have you considered hiring in the next 4 to 6 months? And if they have, then ask to set up a meeting to discuss future possibilities about that, because that's a perfect opportunity for you to be getting the meeting, right? Another scenario is they say they do co-op already, or they're already doing interns. That's fantastic to hear that they're already taking in students. However, our program is completely different from co-op, And we want to emphasize that our program is very unique from co-op. We also provide several benefits over co-op. One thing is that we have flexible internships, which means that we don't just have like strict 4-month co-ops or 8 months. We range from like 6 weeks to 18 months, so it's perfect. We're very flexible. Another thing is that we don't just offer undergraduate students that co-op normally offers. We offer like students in their masters, students in their PhDs, maybe even students that have graduated up to 1 year. That is, we can only take in students that have graduated with 1 year due to visa processing limits. And if you mention any of these, you definitely want to say ask for a meeting to discuss it in further detail, because this is, you just basically set an advantage and say that I can explain these benefits more during the meeting. The third scenario is if they say they only hire full time. So you can definitely understand, like, that's definitely a valid concern, right? Like, why do interns? And this is where you really need to explain what the benefits of internships are. And interns are better because, one, they're highly motivated, and two, they bring international perspective. So one, highly motivated means that because like they're coming in for like a new experience, they're doing internship, right? Like it could be their first job. They're obviously highly motivated. They got that high energy. They want to achieve these projects. They want to do as much as they can. If you do full-time workers, maybe in the first year or so, they're really energetic. But after a while, they just settle into that pattern because they're no longer like eager to really be like going above and beyond. They just want to like finish their day job and go do whatever else they have, right? So they get into that pattern, they just lose that energy that interns have. Another thing interns have is the international perspective. Because usually if you're hiring full-time, you usually hire people that are local, right? Our interns, because they come from other countries, they come with international perspective. What that means is that these interns could provide some very useful feedback and insight into like other countries' markets that like the company could definitely benefit from. And regardless, interns are just perfect for project-based work. It's just like short projects, that's perfect for intern material. And if you say any of these, once again, push for the meeting, because remember, you always want to try to get that meeting. The final scenario is that they feel like they don't know if they can afford this program. Even though you haven't really talked about the cost, so this shouldn't really come up. But if it does come up, just say it's extremely cost effective. And that you could discuss the price during the meeting, because you don't want to discuss it during the call, right? And that another thing is that we don't have any additional fees. We only charge a flat fee. And because because we only charge that flat fee, as a result, it's very straightforward. Apart from that, like that's really all there is to cold calls. If you did get a meeting, that's fantastic. Like, props to you. That's just top of the game. That like you've achieved the purpose of a cold call, and now you need to move on to the next step. But make sure when you're booking that meeting, if you do book that meeting, that you book it like not for the next day. You book it maybe like next week or so. So that way, it gives the icx portfolio some time to figure things out, like who can go along with you, how you're gonna get there, like maybe if there's gonna be travel costs or anything, right? So just give us some time to figure out the logistics. Apart from that, really, that's really all there is to cold calls. We're now gonna move on to the tracking.